How we doing?
I know everyone's going to look at kind of the last drive, but the couple drives before that in the fourth quarter where BYU, took the lead and Talon had, some fourth quarter adversity trailing. I mean, he had like couple really good drives there. What would you make kind of his poise under pressure there in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, good. He did a nice job. He answered and got the lead a couple times and just couldn't get that last one.
With that last drive, what are the teaching moments? I mean, how big is that first completion, and even up to the final throw, what did you see from Talon?
Yeah, Talon did fine. I mean, just did. We practice that situation every week, every Wednesday in practice, some variation of that, and we got behind the chains. We drop a pass on first down, could have easily been 2nd and 5. We throw the screen on 2nd down, get the penalty. So now we're way behind the chains, and that was a really nice throw he made to get us back to the 4th and 8. And we called what we thought was our best play. They were in a drop 8-man coverage where they had some extra guys, and he was just a little bit late getting back to number 2 on that. And we had run that play earlier in the game. So, Talon played fine. All I tell you guys every week, I mean, all the experiences he's getting in the game, in each game, that goes into his experience bank that's gonna help him through the rest of his career.
People want to know why he's not running more, but I mean he sits there. It looks like he's really comfortable in the pocket. You said a couple weeks ago, well, they're caging him up. They're doing a good job. Are they not letting him get out? He's going through the progression. I mean, how do you assess?
Hey, do you remember the one that was in the second half? It was 2nd and 1. It was 2nd and 1 from the press box going towards our bench, and he pulled it on the read, and he kept it, and he cut it up for a 5-yard gain and went down. He took a dive. You remember that play? So that's in a nutshell. That was zone read, and in a nutshell, that when I say people are boxing him in, I mean, ever since the first game when he just ran around San Diego State's defense, I mean, that's what defenses do. They keep leverage and they make you cut it inside. And so, Talon wants to use his speed, but at 6'5" or 6'6", whatever he is, and 215 pounds, that guy doesn't want to run between the tackles very much. I mean, he's going to get killed running in there. So that was a good example of him running, getting the first down, not taking a shot. But it's unrealistic to think he's going to run around the defense. Like those guys are on scholarship too. They're coaching them to keep their leverage.
On your guys' first touchdown drive, how much of an asserted effort did you guys make to get the ball to Latrell, and how much can he kind of spark things? Because he certainly did on that possession. You moved him around too out of the backfield on the touchdown.
Yeah, Latrell and Steph Cobbs, I thought both played really good in this game. It wasn't a concerted effort at all. In fact, 2 of the 3 catches in that drive where he had 3 were Talon checking off at the line of scrimmage to a better play than we were in. So that was just luck of the draw. We were trying to do something else. They gave us the wrong look. He checked us out of it and got to the crossing route, and Talon made 2 good throws, and Latrell made 2 nice catches.
The layering on Talon's throws, it seems like he'll have 2 of those. How much has he gotten better at that, and how impressed were you with some of those throws?
Yeah, I was real impressed. I mean, he's been threading them pretty tight. I mean, he had some tight windows there. Those 2 to Latrell, that one. I think it was in the 3rd quarter to Cobbs over the middle. I mean, that was a very tight window. In the 4th quarter, the one that he hit McAllister on, Emack was a little short on his route, which makes those windows even tighter, and he threaded that one in there. So Talon has improved a lot, and that's part of what we got going on right now. Is we're a solid running team and an improving passing team. And I think I probably hurt us in the first half by being a little too conservative. We were actually trying to get George going more than we were trying to get Latrell going. And then if you think about it, if you take out the one player at the end, we had 4 total drives in the first half. We had a touchdown and we had 3 3-and-outs. We had a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 5, a 3rd and 6, which leads us to getting 17 plays in the first half. We couldn't convert a 3rd down. And, to get more plays, you've got to stay on the field. And BYU was able to do that. We weren't.
What is the thought process of not kneeling at the end and trying to go? Do you want to go for a couple passes, or what is that?
I would say we put Talon in a bad position there in that situation with 23 seconds left in the half. That was something that we should not have done. We should have ran the ball there. We were going to get the ball at the start of the second half, so that's a bad coaching decision by the play caller. But let me go back on that real fast. That's a bad decision by the play caller, and I take full responsibility for that. With that said, that is a great learning lesson for the quarterback, because ultimately the coach calls the plays and the player plays the game. And so those are the kind of things that he's learning all the time. And like I said, I try very hard to not put Talon in disadvantageous positions, whatever the word is. But I did there, unfortunately, and we paid the ultimate price. Thank God it didn't hurt us, thanks to an unbelievable defensive stand by our defense.
Those are probably black and white, but is there like a time there like you'd want to see on the clock to put the pedal down, or?
A time and a field position, both. Yeah, a time and a field position, and timeouts. And we had the timeouts. We didn't have enough time, and we did not have good field position.
You mentioned him checking off a couple plays. How much freedom or whatever does he have at the line, and how's he improving in that aspect?
He has always been pretty good at that. The way Coach Plow had packaged plays before I got here and back into training camp and everything, even back to last spring, there was some packages that were already built, this or that, based on the defense. And we've continued some of those. We've tweaked some of them. We've added some new ones. And as long as Talon knows what he's looking for and what triggers him to make the move, he does a really good job in that.
What stands out about that when looking, just putting together a spotting board last night? The numbers on defense aren't that bad.
Yeah, when you watch their defense, when you're watching Nevada's defense, you're going, how has this team lost 7 straight games or whatever it is? Because their defense, they're real solid. And Coach Wilson, of course, was with Coach Avalos at Oregon, and they coached together. It's a similar defense. There's some differences, but it is a similar defense to what our own team runs. And I think they're playing pretty good on defense. They got a lot of new players. They went through a lot of transfer situations. So I think it's only 2 starters returning from last year, but they are playing real solid, and we're just we're right in the middle of that right now.
Connie was back at center. How did you think he played, and some of those interior guys who had to get moved around?
Yeah, we're having to continually make some moves because we're having a hard time getting our top 5 in there at the same time. It hasn't happened yet this season, but getting Kakani back was good. And Will had to move over to left guard, and Will's kind of the guy that can play all 3 positions inside. BYU, that front was easily the hardest to move. They were bigger guys, more physical. I thought 92 from BYU was a really good player. I thought he was their best defensive player, and he gave us some problems on the edge, especially gave our tight ends some problems. I thought the O-line still did a pretty good job. We weren't able to run the ball as successfully as we hoped to. And, they blitzed us a little bit more on the edge than we thought they were going to, but that's just part of the game.
Are you getting closer to maybe finally getting your top 5 out there?
That's a question for Coach Avalos.
We get to talk to Davis tomorrow. What's it been like to have the opportunity to coach your son this season?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like me and Davis are really close, but when we're in the room like this and the guys are there, I see Davis as a face in the crowd, and we have little conversations sometimes, but mostly about other stuff. I try to coach him the same as I'm talking to everybody else, and Davis wants to be a coach himself, so you can ask him what he thinks about that. He probably has more to say about it than I do, but it's been fun for me to be around him. That's one of the reasons I wanted to be involved in my previous role, so that I could be around him, come to practice and be around him his last year. But I don't know.
Since you
took over this job, have you had to be more coach than dad than maybe you would have in the past?
Well, Davis is 24 years old, and I'm pretty much. I mean, the dad stuff, like that. It's not like he's not a little kid anymore. He's a grown man. So, yeah, I'm just coaching him right now. I mean, we're not having any father-son talks right now.
Dirk, a player of Taylor's athletic ability, quarterbacks of that athletic ability, yeah, they're looking downfield, but a lot of times you'll see him creeping down to see if there's a way they can get out of there, and they'll go on foot. I don't see Taylor do that. Is that a good sign as a coach where he's not just
Yeah, it is for me.
get out of there?
But you also just told me that people want to see him run more. So I told you a week or two ago, guys that drop their eyes and look at the rush, I don't want to coach those guys. I mean, those guys aren't, Taylor wants to be a quarterback, and he's always going to have that running ability. And yeah, we might need to run him more. That's a legitimate point. And we had more read runs called in the game than he kept. I mean, again, the defense dictates that sometimes by how wide the read guy is and if the read guy gets up the field or not. But Taylor, he does not look at the rush, and he does not pull it down and look to run. He has really good instincts. He has really good instincts on how to get himself out of trouble. And those are all good things for his long-term future. Again, he's going to be the quarterback here for a while, and I'm sure he has visions of playing beyond Boise State. And to be a good quarterback, he needs to keep doing those things.
With your experience, can you teach poise Monday through Friday, or is that just something you learn on Saturdays?
You can talk about it. You can talk about it, and you can show situations, but you can never practice it enough. Like I said, we practice the different forms of 2-minute drill on Wednesday, but we're on a time schedule. Like, we got to get out of practice at 11:15 so these guys can go to class. Like, we could stay out there and play situations all day, and that would be great for the quarterback. And you're looking at it on tape, you're watching it on film, but experience is definitely the best teacher. And Taylor is awesome about anytime I talk to him about anything, he always talks about experience, not repeating the same mistakes, and he's pretty darn good at that.
I know that only 16 plays in the first half is probably the reason of this happening, but how important is it to get to a point where you feel like you can get Ashton Genty involved in the game?
Yeah, it's important. But, okay, so far, Taylor needs to run more. Ashton needs more touches. We're happy that Latrell got involved. Steph Cobbs is pretty good. A couple weeks ago, we wanted Riley to get more touches. So, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I've been talking to groups like you a long time. The object of the game is to win the game. No matter how you do it, no matter who gets the touches, that's the object. We came up 3 points short, and I didn't do a very good job in the first half. Our team played pretty darn good in the second half. Our offense played good in the second half. We got to start faster, and we got to turn over those third downs. We got to convert those third downs. If we do that, we'll have a chance to win every week, and that's what I'm here to do, is help us win games. I didn't do my best, but who gets the touches? That's not my main issue. Getting in the end zone is my main issue.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys, have a great one.